Welcome back to the channel, where we bring you the latest updates on government policies, financial benefits, and how they affect you and your family. Today, we're diving deep into a brand new proposal from the Trump administration that could put more money into the pockets of millions of American families, the proposed $2,500 child tax credit. We'll break down who may qualify, who could be excluded, and what this proposal means for families moving forward. There's a lot to unpack, so make sure you stick around until the end. And before we jump in, all I ask is one quick favor: if you find this video helpful, please take just a second to tap that like button. It really helps support the channel and keeps these updates coming your way every single day. Now let's get into it. So, yes, the Trump administration is now proposing to increase the federal child tax credit from the current $2,000 to $2,500 per qualifying child, a change that could last through 2028. This update comes as part of a broader legislative package, informally referred to as Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, that aims to extend and expand several tax provisions originally introduced in the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Now, you might be wondering, why 2028? That timeline conveniently aligns with what would be the final year of a second Trump term, assuming he's re-elected. So, it's likely that much of this proposal is structured around that potential timeline. This is an important part. The Trump administration has stated it does not want to continue inflating the national deficit to fund new benefits. So, if they're increasing the child tax credit, then somewhere else in the budget will likely face cuts. That said, the deficit is still growing. Lawmakers are already discussing plans to raise the debt ceiling to accommodate this and other proposed expenses. So, while the administration says they're being fiscally responsible, the reality is that we're still expanding the deficit, just doing it in a way that appears more controlled on paper. Let's talk about eligibility, because this is where things get more complicated. Under the proposal, only individuals and families with Social Security numbers, SSNs, would be eligible to claim the full child tax credit. That means those using individual taxpayer identification numbers, IDNs, often used by immigrants who pay taxes but don't have SSNs, may be excluded. So, what does that mean for mixed-status families? It's not entirely clear yet. Lawmakers are still debating whether children with SSNs but parents with IDNs would qualify. This could affect millions of children, especially in immigrant communities. If passed as is, undocumented immigrants, certain legal non-citizens, and the unbanked may be left out completely, regardless of their tax contributions. A big question many families are asking: will the new $2,500 credit be distributed monthly, like the expanded child tax credit was in 2021? For now, the answer is no. The draft version of the proposal does not include a monthly payment structure. However, discussions are ongoing, and some lawmakers and economists are pushing for a return to monthly payments, which helped dramatically reduce child poverty when implemented during the pandemic. Economists argue that smaller, recurring payments are more effective in lifting families out of poverty than one lump sum at the end of the year. For example, imagine instead of getting $2,500 at tax time, you receive around $208 a month per child throughout the year. While the total might be slightly less, say, $2,400 instead of $2,500, families would benefit from predictable monthly income to cover food, rent, and essentials. It's a compelling idea, but again, not part of the current proposal. Let's talk about the challenges of making this a monthly credit. One of the main hurdles is that not all families have bank accounts. Monthly deposits would need to be sent via direct deposit to reduce administrative costs and avoid mailing physical checks. But those who are unbanked or underbanked would be left out. Additionally, Republicans, especially fiscal conservatives, are wary of creating any new ongoing entitlement-style benefit, even if it's funded through the tax system. Many believe it's more appropriate to give a single annual tax credit rather than monthly distributions. Right now, the $2,000 child tax credit is only temporary and is set to expire at the end of 2025. This new proposal would extend that credit through 2028 and increase the amount to $2,500 per child. However, there's more you need to know. For the 2024 tax year, those returns just filed this past April, families could qualify for a refundable credit up to $1,700, depending on income and other factors. Under the Trump proposal, the maximum refundable portion, the part you can get back even if you owe no taxes, would be capped at $1,400, and indexed to inflation. But here's the key detail: families with less than $2,500 in earned income annually would still be ineligible for the refundable portion. That means 17 million low-income children could continue to be excluded or receive only a partial credit. This creates a sharp divide: those earning just enough will benefit the most, while the poorest families may continue to be left behind. The Trump administration has been very clear on its stance: we want people to work. In other words, the proposal is structured to reward work, not just to support families in need. If you're not working and not contributing to the economy through taxable income, you likely won't see the full benefit. Supporters argue this incentivizes people to join or return to the workforce. Critics argue it penalizes the most vulnerable, including single parents, those with disabilities, and families dealing with unemployment. Now the big question: will this proposal actually pass? As of today, the draft legislation is in early review. It's a massive bill, over 300 pages long, and lawmakers from both parties are still combing through the details. The $5,000 DOGE dividend that was floated around by some in the Republican Party, and supported at one point by Elon Musk, is no longer part of the plan. It was scrapped for being too costly. Instead, the focus is now solely on making Trump's tax cuts permanent and expanding the child tax credit to $2,500. So, let's sum this up. The Trump administration is proposing a $2,500 child tax credit through 2028. Only families with Social Security numbers will qualify, excluding many with ITINs. Monthly payments are not currently included, though discussions are happening. Families with annual incomes under $2,500 remain ineligible for the refundable portion. The proposal emphasizes work incentives, rather than broad-based support.